It's midnight and you are tuning in to Nightline with me, Nadia. Azmi. Here are the top stories. Government mandates medicine price displays to empower consumers. And alleged bribery and misappropriation linked to Sapura Energy Berhad, MACC opened 2 investigation papers. Good morning. Consumers will soon be able to compare the prices of medication at private clinics and hospitals as a new directive requiring the display of drug prices takes effect on May 1st. Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali stressed that the regulation aims to empower consumers rather than control medicine prices. Armizan explained that price transparency would provide the public with essential information on the cost of medical goods and services.
Kita bayar harga ubat ini dan kita bayar harga perkhidmatan itu. Duit kita. Jadi kita mempunyai hak untuk mendapat maklumat tentang apa yang kita bayar. Jadi itu benda basic yang saya fikir tidak sewajarnya ditentang oleh mana-mana pihak.
Speaking at the launch of the 2025 Consumerism NGO Day, Armizan said the new rule has not faced opposition from the Association of Private Hospitals Malaysia or APHM. However, concerns remain among general practitioners who have requested some flexibility in its implementation. He added that the price display initiative is seen as a measure to curb rising medical inflation, which is projected to reach 15% this year, higher than the 10% average in the Asia-Pacific region and 11% globally. Meanwhile, the ministry has initiated 99 investigation files to date as part of its probe into the mixing of local white rice with imported grains. The cases were uncovered following inspections on 308 manufacturing and packaging premises nationwide under Ops Campur.
Sekarang 99 kertas siatan yang melibatkan 99 sampel. Dan sampel-sampel itu 17 telah pun kita serap. Barang kes itu perlu diurus secara baik untuk pastikan nanti dia accessible, admissible, keboleh pakaian barang bukti di mahkamah.
Recently, the Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute (MARDI) revealed that nearly 50% of imported white rice samples out of 5,000 tested were found to be mixed with local white rice. Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim on Friday announced that the Perak Pulau Pinang water project has reached its final stage of planning. The Prime Minister said the government has outlined a strategy to enhance the capacity of Sungai Perak and develop a direct drainage system to channel water from Bukit Merah to Kerian.
Jadi bekalan air utamanya bukan saja Kigip, kawasan pembangunan baru kita, tetapi juga seluruh daerah ini. Daripada situ sampailah ke Sebang Perai, ke Sungai Bakap, Corotok Kun. Jadi bekalan air untuk Pulau Pinang jasa baik orang Perak Darul Ridwan. Terima kasih banyak.
Anwar said this in his speech at the state-level Madani Breaking of Fast program at SK Dato' Alauddin in Selinsing, Perak. During the closing of the Northern Region Madani Rakyat 2024 program on May 4th last year, Anwar stated that the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, and the Perak government under Datuk Seri Sa'rani Muhammad had agreed to supply water to Pulau Pinang. He also issued a stern warning to the nation's leaders, cautioning them against embezzling public funds and concealing them elsewhere.
Gaji itu hak. Kalau orang ambil gaji itu hak dia. Tapi jangan curi simpan di rumah-rumah lain. Tak boleh. Jadi Perdana Menteri, jadi Menteri Kewangan, kerjanya nak kayakan diri. Tak boleh. Kalau tidak, negeri ini rosak.
During the program, Anwar handed over the Sejati Madani grant worth 13.4 million ringgit for the Kerian district and extended aid to 140 orphans. Earlier at another event, Anwar has called for a new synergy between the Defence Ministry and industry players to ensure the country's defence research and development (R&D) evolves in line with rapid technological advancements. He stressed that modernising defence capabilities is essential for national security and must remain a priority for the government. The Prime Minister shared this during the Ihya Ramadan 2025 event at Subang Air Base, where he engaged with over 700 personnel and held discussions with top defence officials. He further emphasised the need to focus on key areas, including defence assets, training, personnel welfare and strategic cooperation to address emerging security challenges effectively. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) has opened 2 investigation papers following reports of alleged bribery and misappropriation linked to Sapura Energy Berhad or SEB. According to sources, the investigations stemmed from preliminary inquiries initiated by the graftbusters at the end of 2023, which also involved claims related to the company. The source stated that the investigation papers will focus on money laundering activities and misappropriation related to claims from around 2018 when the company was known as Sapura Kencana Petroleum Berhad. The probe will also focus on governance weaknesses and management shortcomings. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki confirmed the probe and said the investigation papers were opened under the MACC Act and the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act. On Monday, SEB secured 1.1 billion ringgit in investment from Malaysia Development Holding Sdn Berhad MDH through the latter's subscription to the company's nominal value of redeemable convertible loan stocks. SEB said it had entered into a conditional funding agreement with MDH, a special purpose vehicle of the Minister of Finance Incorporated, as part of its financial restructuring efforts. Meanwhile, Azam revealed to TV3 that the anti-graft body is currently reviewing hundreds of key documents as part of their ongoing corruption and money laundering investigation involving former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. This includes the asset declaration made by the Borough MP on February 10th.
Maka itu nanti kita akan terus sort out perkara-perkara yang penting untuk membantu siasatan kami.
Azam also confirmed that the primary focus remains on recording Ismail Sabri's statement before deciding on any further action.
Kami tidak ada buat sebarang keputusan sama ada beliau akan ditahan atau tidak, tetapi buat masa ini kita akan meneruskan rekaman percakapan beliau.
Earlier, Ismail Sabri completed his second day of questioning at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya following a 6-hour session on Friday. The Borough MP is expected to return next Monday to continue providing his statement. Ismail Sabri was seen arriving at the MACC headquarters for the first session at around 8:46 a.m. After nearly 4 hours, he was granted a 3-hour break for Friday prayers before returning for a second session at 3:30 p.m. Ismail Sabri was then seen leaving the MACC building at 5:42 p.m. amid heavy rain. The MACC has identified the former Prime Minister as a suspect following the discovery of 170 million ringgit in cash, gold bars and luxury goods in a safe house. These seizures were made after the arrest of 4 former senior officers from Ismail Sabri's administration. The investigation primarily focuses on the funding and expenditure of the Keluarga Malaysia program during his tenure. In Selangor, police have successfully solved 21 cases across 3 states following the fatal shooting of 3 suspected criminals in Sepang. The trio is believed to be responsible for 17 break-in cases, resulting in an estimated total loss of 1 million ringgit. According to Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Deputy Director Datuk Fadil Marsus, the incident occurred at 3 a.m. on Friday when the suspects were found hiding in a forested area after attempting to rob a house in a nearby residential area in Desa Vista. He explained that the suspect triggered the security alarm, which alerted the homeowner, who then contacted the police.
Maklumat ni kita terima dan kita gerakkan kita punya elemen yang mana yang ada di ground immediately. Dan straight away kita bertembung, kita dapat mengesan dengan mereka ini, dan mereka ini 3 orang ni warga negara asing ini mengelak daripada ditangkap, menyerang polis, dan kita tembak mati ke semua sekali.
Investigations revealed that the suspects, aged between 35 and 40, are part of a group which had been involved in multiple robberies across Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Kuala Lumpur. Police believe the group consists of 5 members and are currently tracking down the remaining individuals. Further findings suggest the criminals would return to their home country after committing crimes, only to return shortly after. The Immigration Department has arrested 4 Bangladeshi nationals for offering illegal immigration services to foreign workers. The suspects were detained in a special operation conducted in Kuala Lumpur and Bukit Raja, Selangor over the past 2 days. According to Immigration Director General Datuk Zakaria Shahban, authorities seized 134 passports from various countries, along with nearly 70,000 ringgit in cash and 2 vehicles. Operating as illegal agents, the suspects targeted Bangladeshi, Myanmar, Indonesian and Nepalese nationals who had overstayed or whose temporary work permits (PLKS) had expired. They allegedly sold fake special passes for 2,000 to 2,500 ringgit, allowing these foreigners to remain in Malaysia illegally. Investigators believe the operation had been running for the past year. At the same time, a local woman and 3 Bangladeshi men have been issued notices to appear at the immigration office to assist in the investigation. Malaysia Kini journalist B. Nanta Kumar has been charged in the Shah Alam Sessions Court on Friday for allegedly accepting a 20,000 ringgit bribe from a Pakistani foreign worker agent. The bribe was allegedly given as an inducement for him to take down or refrain from publishing articles related to Pakistani foreign workers on the Malaysia Kini website. The 42-year-old journalist pleaded not guilty when the charge was read before Judge Datuk Muhammad Nasir Nordin. According to the charge sheet, Nanta allegedly received the bribe from Muhammad Zahid, a Pakistani national, at the Concord Hotel, Shah Alam, around 11:45 p.m. on February 28th. The judge granted him bail of 10,000 ringgit with case management set for April 23rd. Nanta was previously remanded for 4 days from March 1st by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission to assist in investigations. Nearly 80% of smallholder oil palm farmers have complied with the European Union Deforestation-Free Regulation (EUDR). Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani said the remaining 20% will receive assistance to help them meet the requirements by mid-2026. According to the European Commission's proposal, large companies have until December 30th next year to comply with the regulations. For small and medium enterprises, SMEs, the compliance deadline is June 30th, 2026.
We, as a nation, a second largest producer of this palm oil, well, definitely we cannot avoid this, we have to comply. For them to comply, there's no problem. It's quite easy. Because at this moment, they also continue supply to the European countries, because they comply with a lot of certification internationally, termasuk RSPO and so on. Yeah?
Johari, who is also the Member of Parliament for Titi Wangsa, said this after he visited and engaged with over 1,000 residents at the Hiliran Ampang People's Housing Project (PPR) on Friday. He also commented on the current issue of cooking oil shortages.
Every time bila Ramadan a lot of kita punya palm oil requirement ini meningkat di Middle East, di African. So biasalah. I think that figures is quite normal for us. I think for next month, I think their stock tu akan accumulate. We still have about 1.5 million metric ton stock.
Bursa Malaysia is attracting renewed interest from foreign funds this week despite external pressures driven by improved stock price valuations. Analysts are also confident that the FBM KLCI index will recover and reach 1,730 points by the end of the year.
see the net inflow of foreign funds back into the blue chip first. All right, this has always been my observation. Blue chip first. After that, liquidity will spill over into the small and mid cap space. So that would be the natural process lah.
The banking, construction, healthcare and plantation sectors are seen as having strong growth potential. Meanwhile, stocks in the energy, technology and telecommunications sectors remain favoured by investors. Analysts are also expecting the ringgit to trade between 4.2 and 4.3 against the US dollar in the near term. The projection is influenced by market concerns over a potential economic recession in the United States. As a result, it increases the likelihood of the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates in the country.
Boardrooms are still male-dominated. What's blocking women from the top jobs? If diversity boosts business, why are so few women calling the shot? With talent and qualifications on their side, why do women still struggle to break the glass ceiling? Women Entrepreneur Network Association President Shireen Rose Muhammad Shari joins Azaria Tagaya only on Money Matters this Saturday evening on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
The Australian government on Friday said the country is expected to spend $470 million to help metals industries develop low emissions technology and boost exports. The scheme aims to bolster the country's aluminium, iron and steel sectors, which accounts for more than $94 billion a year in overseas shipments. The funding is also part of a broader Future Made in Australia industrial policy announced in last year's budget and will help develop new technologies and finance pilot projects to lower emissions, improve productivity and revitalise plant and equipment. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the government aimed to strengthen the Australian metals manufacturing industry and described the US tariffs as an act of economic self-harm. End of the road for Malaysian shuttlers at All England. Sports after this breather.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headlines.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Oh sayang, good morning.
Alahai, lembutnya suara mami kita yang satu ni.
Selalu korang tengok Fasha kat set pengabaran kan, berlakon.
Kali ni Fasha Sanda jadi full-time mami di rumah. Siapa paling banyak buat mami pening? Anak-anak ke daddy? Nantikan keriangan keluarga Fasha Sanda dalam Oh Mami setiap Sabtu 6 petang. Indahkan memori Ramadan di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Saat kita berkumpul bersama keluarga, ada yang diuji dengan kesusahan, kesakitan dan kesunyian. Tapi dalam setiap ujian, ada tangan yang menghulur dan ada hati yang memahami. Bersama kita hulurkan tangan, ringankan beban. Istimewa Ramadan dan Syawal ini bersamamu setiap Ahad 6 petang. Indahkan memori Ramadan dan Syawal di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Roti girl.
Kita tolong membantu saja tau.
Jangan lupa tengok rancangan Ana Mama Masak Apa Tu.
Setiap Ahad jam 7 malam hanya di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports badminton to 2025 All England Open. Heartbreaking news for Malaysians as our hopes at the prestigious tournament were dashed as both Goh Soon Huat, Siobhan Lai and Buletin Tina crashed out in the quarterfinals on Friday. Despite becoming the only national mixed doubles pair to earn top seeding, Soon Huat and Siobhan's campaign ended in disappointment, falling 21-18, 8-21, 10-21 to China's scratch pair Jiang Zhenbang, Huang Dongping. The defeat also meant the independent duo missed out on equaling their best Super 1000 performance, having reached the semi-finals in 2019. Pearly and Tina also suffered the same fate as they were beaten by their familiar Japanese rivals Chiharu Shida, Nami Matsuyama 17-21, 19-21 in the women's doubles. However, the duo deserves some credit for competing under less than ideal conditions due to a left ankle injury sustained by Pearly. The last time a Malaysian representative clinched an All England Open title was men's single shuttler Lee Zijia in 2021. On to football now, the Europa League. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim hailed perfect captain Bruno Fernandes after he scored a hat-trick to lead the English Premier League side to a 4-1 victory against 10-man Real Sociedad at Old Trafford on Thursday.
When we need it, he's always there. In the set pieces, he can change position, he can bring the ball forward, he can score goals, he can make transitions like he showed today in the last 10 minutes of the game. He can defend, so it's a perfect captain for our team, and we need to help him to win titles because he deserves a lot.
Speaking to the media after the match, the 40-year-old Portuguese coach believed that his teams and the players are ready to advance to the next stage. Amid a lackluster domestic campaign, the Red Devils have a chance to earn some silverware and a spot in the Champions League next season after advancing to the quarterfinals with a 5-2 aggregate score. Fernandes converted 2 penalties before completing a hat-trick in the 87th minute, and Diogo Dalot scored United's 4th in stoppage time to set up a last 8 matchup with French side Lyon. Turning to tennis, the 2025 Indian Wells Open. Carlos Alcaraz stormed back from 1-4 down in the second set to beat Francisco Cerúndolo and reach the semi-finals on Friday, keeping his three-peat bid alive. In the second set of the quarterfinal showdown, Cerúndolo was poised to force a deciding set after holding a 4-1 lead. But like a prize fighter, Alcaraz came out swinging to quickly level the tie before closing out the match with a 6-3, 7-6 victory. The Spaniard will compete in his 9th ATP Masters 1000 semi-final against Jack Draper, who is through to that stage for the first time. Earlier, Daniil Medvedev fended off a sustained challenge from Arthur Fields to win 6-4, 2-6, 7-6 and book his place in the semi-finals of Indian Wells. Awaiting him in the last 4 is Holger Rune of Denmark. In the women's category, Aryna Sabalenka hit a sensational running backhanded winner on match point to beat Lyudmila Samsonova 6-2, 6-3 to advance to the semi-final. With that result, the Belarusian has set up an Australian Open final rematch with American Madison Keys. On to Formula One, the 2025 Australian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc topped the second practice session at Albert Park on Friday, while Lewis Hamilton was unable to match his teammates' pace on his Ferrari debut. With all eyes on 7-time world champion Hamilton, who finally made his much-anticipated debut, the 40-year-old finished 5th in the second practice, 0.4 of a second off Leclerc's impressive leading time of 1 minute, 16.439 seconds. Leclerc's time was good enough to outpace McLaren's Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, who had topped the first practice session by more than 1/10 of a second. RB's Yuki Tsunoda and Isaac Hadjar finished 4th and 6th respectively, while world champion Max Verstappen could only manage 7th for Red Bull. Several drivers struggled in the first race weekend session, including Mercedes' George Russell, who went off the track in the first practice, while Haas' Ollie Berman missed the second practice following a big crash in the first. The drivers will take part in the third practice session on Saturday, followed by qualifying to determine the starting grid for Sunday's Grand Prix. Putin sets out tough conditions for Ukraine's ceasefire. The details when Nightline returns.
Terperangkap dalam ilusi masa lalu, cintanya hanya satu.
Allah memang beri peluang buat kita untuk hidup sama semula di sini.
Namun, hakikat yang tersembunyi mula meruntuhkan harapan.
Haris, semua rasa sakit saya, marah saya lupakan.
Saya cuma nak awak tunaikan tanggungjawab awak.
Dua Antara, Sabtu 10 malam, terbaharu di Cereka Rama. Indahkan memori Ramadan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Time-time puasa ni selalu teringin nak makan benda-benda manis. Jangan risau sebab ada dua resipi yang sangat sedap, senang dan yang penting sihat nak share dengan korang. I'm sure semua orang akan suka sangat. Look at how beautiful that is. Bau dia, I memang tak boleh nak explain. Rasa dia lagilah. Cuma menggunakan 3 bahan, I sendiri tak percaya. I love it. Mesti korang terfikir, ada ke dessert sihat? Tapi tengok. So, korang memang kena cuba.
Boardrooms are still male-dominated. What's blocking women from the top jobs? If diversity boosts business, why are so few women calling the shot? With talent and qualifications on their side, why do women still struggle to break the glass ceiling? Women Entrepreneur Network Association President Shireen Rose Muhammad Shari joins Azaria Tagaya only on Money Matters this Saturday evening on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Bila doktor dah buat PET scan tu, saya punya kanser ni bukan dekat dada je. Dah pergi ke otak, ke tulang, ke hati dan paru-paru.
Saya tolong kemaskan dia, siapkan makanannya. Kalau pukul 2 pagi, 3 pagi pun kalau ada kejut saya bangun, saya tolong. Kalau saya solat, saya doa, saya cakap dengan Allah, terima kasih sangat ada orang jaga.
Welcome back. Former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte would appear by video link before judges of the International Criminal Court on Friday, just days after his arrest in Manila on murder charges linked to the deadly war on drugs he oversaw while in office. 79-year-old Duterte will be read his rights and formally informed of the charges of crimes against humanity that the court's prosecutors filed against him after a lengthy investigation. The court will also seek to set a date for a key pre-trial hearing at which judges will assess whether there is enough evidence to proceed to a full trial, which could take years. If Duterte is convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Meanwhile, his daughter, Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte, told supporters outside the court that she was seeking to visit her father and to have the hearing moved. The United Nations UN said Israel has carried out genocidal acts against Palestinians by systematically destroying women's healthcare facilities during its war on Gaza and using sexual violence as a war strategy. In a new report on Thursday, the UN described how Israel intentionally attacked and destroyed Gaza's main fertility center while simultaneously blocking medicine for pregnancies, deliveries and neonatal care from entering the enclave. The report also said maternity hospitals and wards had been systematically destroyed and added that this amounted to 2 categories of genocidal acts during Israel's offensive in Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the UN investigation for making false accusations and absurd claims. Russian President Vladimir Putin has questioned the United States' brokered proposal for a ceasefire in the Ukraine war and set forth tough conditions demanding concessions from Kyiv. At a news conference on Thursday, Putin said he agrees with the proposal to cease hostilities. However, he stressed that the ceasefire must be aimed at long-lasting peace and must look at the root causes of the crisis. Putin also raised a host of questions echoed by other Russian officials and suggested that Ukraine halt mobilization and any training of its troops and that other nations stop supplying weapons to Kyiv during the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused the Russian leader of dragging out the negotiations rather than rejecting the deal completely. He also criticized Putin's response as very manipulative. In the US, more than 170 passengers and 6 crew were evacuated after the engine of an American Airlines jet caught fire after landing in Denver. The incident unfolded on Thursday after the Boeing aircraft diverted from its Dallas destination and landed in Denver at about 5:15 p.m. local time in response to reports of engine vibrations by crew on board. Fortunately, all 172 passengers and 6 crew members had exited the plane, though airport officials said 12 people were transported to hospital with minor injuries. According to the airline, the plane had landed safely and taxied to the gate when it experienced an engine-related issue. However, the fire appeared to have been extinguished quickly by ground crews. The Federal Aviation Administration said it would investigate the incident, while Boeing and engine manufacturer GE Aerospace declined to comment. This time around, before we leave, let's take a look as thousands across South Asia celebrate Holi, the festival of colours. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching and stay safe.